Someone said to me that it is easier and cheaper to retire single, and I beg to differ. Here are 6 ways in which that is not true. Number 1, the biggie. Housing costs are the biggest expense in retirement, and whether you rent or have a mortgage, the cost is the same. The rent is the rent, so if you have one income, obviously it costs that person more. With utilities, you could argue that water would likely be less for one person. That's true, fewer showers and loads of laundry. But electricity doesn't care how many people are in that room, so it isn't necessarily any cheaper. Food, arguable, probably cheaper for a single person, though you can't then take advantage of buying in bulk and save in that way. 2, taxes. There are some better tax breaks for married folks, especially if they file those taxes jointly. Travel. Number 3, travel. Travel costs more for singles, and if you've ever booked a group trip, you're familiar with one of my least favorite phrases, the single supplement. I totally understand that hotels and cruises base their costs on double occupancy for rooms, but it still irritates me. If you're newly divorced or widowed or just have feelings about being single, maybe you feel in a certain way about it, it feels like a judgment tax. So, number 4, the needs of others. Ah, yes, my sisters, when women tend to take care of their community, their parents, and even their adult children that are still living at home. They tend to prioritize the well-being of others rather than themselves. I don't know who gave us this message that our own needs being taken care of is called selfishness. It is not true. Sometimes you got to put that oxygen mask on yourself before you can assist others, right? Number 5, the little things. Single women often have to pay for someone to help them with the transportation to doctor's appointments, like when you got to get your eyes dilated or you're having surgery, and when you need to drop off your car for repair or go to the airport, or help with simple home repairs that you're too short for. This just happened to me. It very much irritated me. I had to get help changing the air filter because it's in my ceiling, and I'm too short to reach that. I'm also too short to just be able to change the batteries in my smoke detectors. So it's very annoying, but I had to get help. And when your pet needs medicine or their nails trimmed and they're too fat and wiggly, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Some things that shouldn't be that big of a deal are more complicated if you don't have a second pair of hands close by. And those little things cost money that you wouldn't have to necessarily pay for if you had another person in your home. So I hear you, my married sisters, always telling me in the background, yeah, I know that depends on whether or not you have a helpful partner, but that's a whole other video. So number 6, worry. When you're single in retirement, you can worry about ill health and loneliness and the thought of not having help when you need it. And those are very legitimate concerns, especially in our later years. But hopefully those worries can be assuaged by your network of friends. I know many ladies that have their phone call check-in routine and their daily check-ins with friends to make sure everybody's safe. And that leads into one of the biggest advantages about being a single woman in retirement. Single women have been forging these strong friendships over the years. They have several ride or die friends that serve as their family, their community, their safe place, their therapy, and the source of fun. And women also have a secondary tier of relationships like their hairdressers and neighbors and trainers and even their favorite checkers at the grocery store. And those people make them feel seen and cared about. One advantage to being single is having the time to foster those relationships and be a good friend. And maybe the biggest advantage for single women is that their time is their own. For those who have been caretaking for others their whole lives, they finally get time to have their own thoughts, their own adventures, have a clean space or a messy space, who cares? Focus on themselves and try new things, like, start a YouTube channel. What other advantages or disadvantages do you see? I'd love to hear what I missed. I wish you happiness in whatever stage of life you find yourself in. Let's start now and retire happy.